Well, good morning, and welcome to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is a production of FightBackMedia.com, 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 and FightBackMediaTV.com. I trust that you are well this glorious, wonderful, fantastic morning here on Friday, or whenever you're watching. And you guys watch, and I do appreciate it. The people who are loyal, who watch all the time, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Then the best way for our audience to grow is for you to share. You are our marketing department. Paul and I don't have money for our marketing department. And we're starting to use AI for a little bit, not too much, because, for the most part, AI gets rid of people. AI just added a couple of people to our morning report because it does some things that neither Paul and I either know how to do or have time to do or want to do. So hopefully you'll be hearing more from us. But what we need you to do is comment and like and share. We need you to do comment, like, and share. And of course, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. We appreciate it. Um. Anyway, as we get into the video, with so much excitement, and that's not the word for it. But there's so much stuff that is revolving around this presidential election, and it's just getting worse cycle after cycle. There's a lot of things that are being taken out of context. We all know the phrase clickbait, where there are things you click on that have a title that seem interesting, and when you actually read about it or you learn about it, you find out that the title of the article or the video was just BS. It should be BS bait, not just clickbait, just BS CB. And there's no way to make it illegal. There's no way to regulate it, unfortunately. What we have to do is just change our attitude about what we see and not believe just the headlines, because we get super lazy, but we just believe the headlines. And this happens in every single medium that we participate in. Now, you guys know that I get a lot of my articles, a lot of my discussion points from townhall.com. And I have a fondness for townhall.com, and this is why. Because my first stint in AM radio was at a Salem broadcasting station, and Salem owns Town Hall. So I have a fondness for them, and I like most of their writings. But here's a headline on a Sarah Arnold piece from August 31st. It was yesterday, I guess. It says Grifter Scam PAC shuts down operation. Grifter Scam PAC shuts down operations. And it has a picture of Ron DeSantis. And I thought, wow, okay. That seems like a what? Something negative about Ron DeSantis, right? Here's the deal. Here's the article. As the 2024 presidential race heats up, a $50 million super PAC set up to urge Governor Ron DeSantis to run for the White House abruptly shut down. The DeSantis team was never affiliated with the PAC. Now, I saw on True Social that President Trump tweeted something or posted something about, some of his biggest donors are backing out, blah, 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 blah. To sort of, what's the phrase I use? Air of inevitability. That the DeSantis campaign is sputtering and spittering and sputtering. But the DeSantis team was never affiliated with this PAC, which was launched in November of 2022. We've made it clear from the beginning that this was a scam PAC looking to grift off of Ron DeSantis. And it comes down to, it comes as a welcome news that they are no longer attempting to fleece our donors. Romeo, who is one of the Ron DeSantis folks, told the Daily Mail, Ron DeSantis has outraised both Biden and Trump last quarter. So this air of inevitability that somehow DeSantis is struggling and is just floundering, it's not really happening. This is the most amazing thing in how things are going and nowadays. Barack Obama said it. We are in a post-truth era of time. if people just say things, a lot of you, maybe not the people who watch this, watch this channel all the time, because you guys will look through the BS and you use your brain, because we all of us have at least two working brain cells and one working synapse, so we can transfer information back and forth and think a little bit. And we do more than just read the headlines and go, well, there you go. It says so right there in the paper. I was reading the website, it says right there, Ron DeSantis is done. Oh, and Vivek Ramaswamy is going to be the nominee, because I read it there on the article. We don't do that. We actually read. Again, Ron DeSantis outraised both Biden and Trump last quarter. We are looking forward to our fundraising success as we capitalize on this strong debate performance and momentum in early states. I told you about this. It's about momentum. On the contrary, DeSantis' official super PAC, Never Back Down, raised $130 million in the second quarter this year, according to election fundraising filings. By the end of June, it had $96.8 million still to spend. Never Back Down raised $130 million in the second quarter of this year. And it still has $96.8 million to spend. The Ron to the Rescue PAC reportedly went under after the founder, Republican strategist John Thomas, cited a series of rookie mistakes and blamed DeSantis, the candidate, not himself. Now, John Thomas was a big, huge Donald Trump supporter. Just saying, Thomas never had a partnership with the DeSantis team, but complained the DeSantis campaign, which isn't legally allowed to coordinate with any PAC, didn't provide enough essential video content that the television stations could use to, quote, project optically what your vision for the future. No, people, here's what happened. People got wise to Thomas's BS, and they deserted it. Early on, the PAC secured financial commitments from mega wealthy donors. However, Thomas claimed that the donors have begun to have second thoughts after the governor's Twitter Spaces campaign announcement with Elon Musk. No, they don't. It was 10 minutes on Twitter Spaces, one of the most viewed spaces in the history of Twitter, x.com. That was not Ron DeSantis' fault. No, they're not. That is the same talking points that the left is using. The same talking points that the Trump campaign is using. It's not true. Now, again, I am not telling you who to support. I am not telling you who to vote for. I am not telling you what drug to take, what not. I'm not. But I gotta be plain. There's a lot of BS. And unless we can dig through the BS and start just telling the truth, we're not any better than they are. We're not. And simply doing what they're doing, saying that, well, they do it, we could do it too. Not good enough. Not good enough. The fact is that we must tell the truth, must be honest. And we must be honest with each other anyway. Thomas, also known as Billy the Kid of political battles, said that the PAC planned to spend heavily on TV campaigns to support DeSantis. But the problem with that is that Twitter Spaces blunder, like almost from the get-go, all of our major donors. Let's see how this plays out. No, that's not true. The scam PAC has only declared a total of $1,621 in donations. It had zero money on hand at the end of the last reported period on June 30th, 2023. This was never, and you know what? And we're learning about this PAC, but the DeSantis campaign never had anything to do with it. And that's really important. never really had anything to do with it. They can't really work with the PAC because it's not legal, but never really had anything to do with it. But it's being attached to Ron DeSantis. So I knew, folks, and you have to wonder why. Why? Why is this? Why is this going on? Because, like I've told you 1,000 times in the past, the left will always tell you who they're afraid of, who they're the most afraid of. They're terrified of Donald Trump. So much, in fact, they're trying to put his ass in jail. Literally trying to put him in jail. Like some banana republic, they're trying to put him behind bars so he cannot be president. And they're even more scared of Ron DeSantis. Ron DeSantis is, and I've said this for the entire time, Ron DeSantis is Trump without all the Trump baggage. And he's got a family that looks like they came over from Central Casting. A wife who just kicked cancer in the ass. 2 beautiful children. Are you kidding me? They're terrified of this dude. And he's fearless. Again, I am not telling you who to support. I am not. I am not that dude. I have not received 1 red cent from anybody from any camp saying, hey, man, we need you to push us. Nobody's paying 1 single bill. No one's paying for electricity at my studio. No one's doing a damn thing for us. Not from any campaign. We have no loyalty to any of them. But when we see things that are unjust, when I see things that are unjust, I have to bring them to your attention. I just have to. What do you think? Write it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. We've got another story today. We'll be back right after this very short little break.
Live here! What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
All right. This is sad. This is not. I'm angry, but I'm really saddened by this. Former Proud Boy leader and Purple Heart recipient Joseph Biggs sobbed while receiving 17 years in prison over his involvement in the January 6th Capitol Hill protests. During his court hearings, he begged Judge Timothy Kelly for a more lenient sentencing, saying that he wanted to take his daughter to school and be there for his cancer-stricken mother. He said, I know I have to be punished, and I understand, according to CNN, please give me the chance, I beg you, to take my daughter to school and pick her up. Biggs's lawyer argued that he didn't assault anyone, adding that he wasn't violent, but was instead seduced by the crowd. I wanted to see what would happen. My curiosity got the best of me, Biggs pleaded. I'm not a terrorist. I'm one of the nicest people in the world. However, the judge took no sympathy for the decorated veteran. And the judge said this, you did play a role in riling up the crowd. If you don't like how an election is being conducted, you can speak out, call, write, or meet with election officials. You can engage in peaceful protests, file a lawsuit. So according to the judge, Biggs qualified for a terrorism sentencing enhancement because he tore down a fence between police officers and protesters in front of the Capitol building. Suzanne Monk, a supporter of the J-6 defendants who has also been reporting on the Proud Boys trial for AMP News, argued that Biggs' sentencing was an attack on the constitutional principle of the United States. She expressed her love for Biggs, calling him a hero who did not deserve this. The unfair, politically motivated sentence the judge gave him. Kelly's decision will lead to far more violence and division in our nation, Monk added. Biggs was sentenced to 204 months in prison and being inside the Capitol building for only about 20 minutes during the Capitol Hill protest that the Democrats won't ever let go. Court orders initially sought a 33-year sentence for Biggs for being in the Capitol for 20 minutes. Now we have to, and I know that the people who disagree with me here will say, stop playing whataboutism. Yeah, but you have to play whataboutism. You have to be able to compare and contrast. You have to be. In the summer of love, where busloads of people were dropped off to basically start fires, put entire cities in danger, throw Molotov cocktails, fight with the police. Many police officers died in the BLM riots, and they died because of the riots, not that they had a heart attack a couple of days later and passed away, like the one Capitol officer did, but died as a direct consequence of being involved in these riots in the summer of love. Most of those people walked away scot-free. And Monk is right. Knowing that, we saw it with our own eyes, heard it with our own ears. Some of us had to see it. During the BLM riots, not far from where I'm sitting, which is not here, not far from where I'm actually sitting, there was a gas station burned to the ground. A gasoline station. Do you know what's under a gasoline station? Large tanks of gasoline. Can you imagine the size of an explosion when you set a gas station on fire? The kind of damage you can cause, the kind of death and destruction and mayhem you can cause. None of those people got 204 months in prison. None of the people who were involved. The people who set and not far from there, who set or tried to set a plaza, a shopping plaza on fire. None of those people got 204 months in prison. None of them. This guy, who I think got suckered because we kept telling you, we have to always think, and we can't always just react. And this is the lesson. We have to think our way through this and act in a very intelligent, non-emotional way. None of those people got 204 months in prison. And they were trying to give him 33 years. But Kelly deemed the recommendation egregious. Big sentencing is one of the harshest handed out in the case related to January 6th. Oath Keepers founder Stuart Rhodes received 18 years in prison. 18 years. Now, we should be horrified and upset by all of it, but we shouldn't be surprised. They told us that it wasn't just Trump they were after. They told us that it was Trump supporters they had to break down to. They told you. They warned you. They told you straight up that it wasn't just Trump they were going after. They were going to have to go after you too. They're going to have to go after me too. And they're doing just that. Just that. Hopefully, Biggs' sentence won't be 204 months total. Hopefully, it'll be much less than that. People who do much worse things don't serve the entire 17 years in prison. They just don't. They just don't. Look it up. Google it. People who get 17 months in prison 17 years in prison don't serve 17 years, hardly ever. But hopefully it'll be a lot shorter than that. And he'll be reunited with his family sooner than later. Folks, this is the kind of thing that we have to think about. Operating emotionally for us, for you and I, is not the path forward. We're not going to get the same benefit of the doubt in the courts right now. We're not going to get the same benefit of the doubt in social media or in the culture. We're not. So in order to train the animal, you first have to be smarter than the animal. I'll leave you with that. All right. So my name is Willie Lawson. This has been the Morning Report for Friday, September 1st. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.